Night photography can be a little bit confusing when you first start it. Your first notion may be to get a flash. And then you notice that, hey, the flash will not illuminate everything that you want to have illuminated. Or it's too bright or too harsh and you have to have a modifier. Your second notion may be to put your camera up when the sun starts going down. Let's start to change that. Hi, my name is Lededrick, and we're about to talk about nighttime photography, or photography in extremely low light. You might ask, Lededrick, it's like the middle of the day right now, and you're talking about nighttime photography. That's right. So what you want to do first is you want to start trying to scope out a nice place that you think you would want to shoot. Before we get started, there's a couple of accessories I recommend that you get. The first item would be a good tripod. You can look back on my holiday gift idea videos to get a recommendation for a good tripod that you can use for this project as well as other projects that you'll be doing. The second thing I want to recommend is that you check to see if your camera has a self-timer for the shutter release. If your camera doesn't, then I recommend that you get a remote shutter release button for your camera. This is going to make it a whole lot easier so that when you go take your picture, your camera won't shake. The last item that I recommend is that you get a friend to go with you. Look guys, you got to be safe out here, okay? Now the first tip that I recommend is that you find available light. This could be street lights, traffic lights, building lights from buildings, off of signs, or cars passing by. So the first thing you want to do is place your camera on the tripod and frame up your shot. The second tip is to shoot in manual. You can check my photography basic video out for a better understanding of that. But for now, I'll give you a starting point of what to set your camera on. Now the good part about this is that you don't have to use an expensive lens. You don't have to have an expensive wide aperture glass like a f1.4, f1.8, or a 2.8. The lens that you have will work just fine. You want to keep your ISO low as possible. So we'll start with ISO 100. This way we'll keep the grain down to a minimum. Your aperture can vary based on the desired depth of field. So if you want a shallow depth of field, you'll need a lens that's like a f1.2, f1.8, f1.4, or 2.8. If you want a deeper depth of field, meaning more things will be in focus, that would be more like a shooting at f16, f22, f11, anywhere in that area. The shutter speed is where you get to play around at with adjusting the look of your picture. The darker the night, the slower your shutter speed will need to be. Now you have to balance that with the available light. You don't want to overblow the light, and leaving the shutter open for too long, it will overexpose your picture. Now with the longer that your shutter is open, you'll get this cool light effect of light trails. That's when a car passes by through your frame and the lights from the tail lights or the headlights are caught, and it causes a trail of lights to be captured in your picture. One last tip. Start with auto white balance. You can adjust that setting later to get the desired outcome of the image that you want. Again, nobody can tell you which one is right. It's your choice. Okay, so grab your gear, your trusted friend, and enjoy your photo shoot, okay? God bless. You can change the white balance settings later to different settings to see the desired. Okay, so grab your gear and your trusted friend.